Instead, I buried myself in accomplishments, because with accomplishments, I believed I could control things. I could squeeze in every last piece of happiness before I got sick and died. Like my uncle before me, which I figured was my natural fate. Hmm? As for Morrie, well, I thought about him now and then, the things he had taught me about being human and relating to others, but it was always in the distance, as if from another life. Over the years, I threw away any mail that came from Brandon's university, figuring they were only asking for money, so I did not know of Morrie's illness. The people who might have told me were long forgotten, their phone numbers buried in some packed away box in the attic. It might have stayed that way had I not been flicking through the TV channels late one night when something caught my ear. The audiovisual. In March of 1995, a limousine carrying Ted Koppel, the host of ABC TV's Nightline, pulled up to the snow-covered curb outside Morrie's house in West Newton, Massachusetts. Morrie was in a wheelchair, full-time now, getting used to helpers lifting him like a heavy sack from the chair to the bed and the bed to the chair. He had begun to cough while eating, and chewing was a chore. His legs were dead. He would never walk again. Yet he refused to be depressed. Instead, Morrie had become a lightning rod of ideas. He jotted down his thoughts on yellow pads, envelopes, folders, scrap papers. He wrote bite-sized philosophies about living with death's shadow. Accept what you are able to do and what you are not able to do. Accept the past as past without denying it or discarding it. Learn to forgive yourself and to forgive others. Don't assume that it's too late to get involved. After a while, he had more than 50 of these aphorisms, which he shared with his friends. One friend, a fellow Brandeis professor named Morrie Stain, was so taken with the words he sent them to a Boston Globe reporter who came out and wrote a long feature story on Morrie. The headline read, "A Professor's Final Course, His Own Death." The article caught the eye of the producer from the Nightline show who brought it to Koppel in Washington, D.C. "Take a look at this," the producer said. Next thing you knew, there were cameramen in Morrie's living room, and Koppel's limousine was in front of the house. Several of Morrie's friends and family members had gathered to meet Koppel, and when the famous man entered the house, they buzzed with excitement. All except Morrie, who wheeled himself forward, raised his eyebrows, and interrupted the clamor with his high, sing-song voice. "Ted, I need to check you out before I agreed to do this interview." There was an awkward moment of silence, then the two men ushered into the study. door was shut. Man, one friend whispered outside the door, I hope Ted goes easy on Morrie. I hope Morrie goes easy on Ted, said the other. Inside the office, Morrie motioned for Coppell to sit down. He crossed his hands in his lap and smiled. Tell me something close to your heart, Morrie began. My heart? Coppell studied the old man. All right, he said cautiously, and he spoke about his children. They were close to his heart. Weren't they? Good, Morrie said. Now tell me something about your faith. Coppell was uncomfortable. I usually don't talk about such things with people I've only known for a few minutes. Ted, I'm dying, Morrie said, peering over his glasses. You don't have a lot of time here. Coppell laughed. All right, faith. He quoted a passage from Marcus Aurelius, something he felt strongly about. Morrie nodded. Now, let me ask you something, Coppell said. Have you ever seen my program? Morrie shrugged. Twice, I think. Twice, that's all. Don't feel bad. I've only seen Oprah once. Well, the 2 times you saw my show, what did you think? Morrie paused. To be honest, yes. I thought you were a narcissist. Coppell burst into laughter. I'm too ugly to be a narcissist, he said. Soon, the cameras were rolling in front of the living room fireplace, with Coppell in his crisp blue suit and Morrie in his shaggy gray sweater. He had refused fancy clothes or makeup for this interview. His philosophy was that death should not be embarrassing. He was not about to powder its nose. Because Morrie sat in the wheelchair, the camera never caught his withered legs. And because he was still able to move his hands, Morrie always spoke with both hands waving. You showed great passion when explaining how you face the end of life. Ted, he said, when all this started, I asked myself, am I going to withdraw from the world like most people do, or am I going to live? I decided I'm going to live, or at least try to live. I decided I'm going to live, or at least try to live the way I want, with dignity, with courage, with humor, with composure. There are some mornings when I cry and mourn for myself. Some mornings I'm so angry and bitter, but it doesn't last too long. Then I get up and say, I want to live. So far, I've been able to do it. Will I be able to continue? I don't know, but I'm betting on myself that I will. Coppell seemed extremely taken with Morrie. He asked about the humility that death induced. Well, Fred, Morrie said accidentally. Then he quickly corrected himself. I mean, Ted. Now that's inducing humility, Coppell said, laughing. The 2 men spoke about afterlife. They spoke about Morrie's increasing dependency on other people. He already needed help eating and sitting and moving from place to place. What Coppell asked did Morrie dread the most about his slow, insidious decay? Morrie paused. He asked if he could say this certain thing on television. Coppell said, Go ahead. Morrie said. Morrie looked straight into the eyes of the most famous interviewer in America. Well, Ted, one day soon someone's gonna have to wipe my ass. The program aired on a Friday night. It began with Ted Koppel from behind the desk in Washington, his voice booming with authority. "Who is Morrie Schwartz?" he said. "And why, by the end of the night, are so many of you going to care about him?" 1,000 miles away in my house on the hill, I was casually flipping channels. I heard these words from the TV say, "Who is Morrie Schwartz?" and went numb.